Awesome. Let's get this done. First, I want to kind of apologize for those who I said a couple months ago I'd do a follow-up video on the Merrell Vapor Gloves. So let me start with saying, before I get too far with these bad boys who are now covered in green from me mowing lawns in them the last couple of weeks, before I show you all the damage that I did to them, before I show you the rips and the tears, I want to say something about these shoes. I beat the living hell out of them. I've had them now I think for about 6 months, and I beat them up. Merrell under no way could have they ever designed this shoe for what I put it through. And I put it through it because this is what I buy a shoe for. I am a minimalist at heart. I believe in simplicity at all cost. And by that I mean I'm willing to spend a little more money on something that I feel is quality, that I feel will serve multiple purposes and multiple functions. So when I bought these, I didn't know much about them. I had talked to Two Rivers Tread, which is on my website, Run It Bear. You'll find a little link to them. They're out in West Virginia. I'm sitting here in the Midwest in Iowa. And they did a great job of explaining the shoe to me. So watch my earlier video. I think I've had them for just a couple weeks and I've done a few runs in them. So, and I'm going to apologize if I go off screen a little bit here, but I also need to show you some things. First, I want to show you the damage I did to them. So I'm going to kind of watch here. You'll see that I've pretty well ripped this whole side out, which would be the outer edge of this shoe. I did it on the other one. The inside edge, it was ripped here. I did it to this side too. I had duct taped it back together. I put duct tape and super glue and held them back together. I ripped them out probably late February. The other shoe I want to show you, I did the exact same thing. They ripped out here. I did have a tear up top. You can see the little black thread sitting in there. I sewed that back together. Now let me explain just a little bit. Again, I highly recommend these shoes. I'm going to say that again. Highly. I am actually ordering another pair, one for good, actually two pair. One for good just to wear as my regular walking shoe, and the other, well, when I totally rip these apart to replace them. This little hole here had nothing to do with the design. It had everything to do with how great a shoe it is, which means I caught this on a piece of barbed wire. I run off trail. A lot of my running is off trail, through wooded areas, I live here in Iowa, old fields. I go all over the place. I follow a lot of deer trails, so I'm in extremely rough terrain. I caught that as I was coming over a fence. I snagged it, and it just ripped the top of it a little bit, the mesh, and it just sewed back together. Now these two holes in the sides, let me explain those a little bit, and I'm going to kind of show them and put them down here. In Iowa this last winter, and I wore these through the winter. I'm a barefoot runner. Right now I'm back to running barefoot completely. So I needed something. I got these because I was looking for something to finally wear during the winter months. We had, I think, about 43 inches of snow this winter, typical for northeast Iowa. When we get snow, and I run through the snow, I run right through the deep parts of the snow. It doesn't bother me. I ran in 10 inches of snow. But we might get snow one day, and then the sun will come out maybe in the mid-20s, and then it freezes hard at night. I generally run in the morning it might be 10 degrees or 10 below zero. So when that snow warms and melts, it creates this really hard ice. These like ice crystals. I tore these shoes up ultimately, and they lasted almost 3 months before they ripped out, which was amazing. But when I'm running, I'm putting pressure. Let me put this shoe down. I'm putting pressure down, and I'm sinking into the snow. And so that ice is literally, it's like these little razor blades just gnawing at the edges. And that's where, the way I run, since I run on a very steep instep, all my pressure is right there. So I'm not saying the shoe is at any fault here. Somebody else might rip it out here. You might rip it out up front. But this spent 3 months, probably 30 miles a week, during the winter, maybe not quite as much, but just constant jarring, constant ripping into the ice, constant just jabbing at it. And then if the snow would maybe melt away or I'd find some clear ground, I'm running through stubble. I'm running through, if you know anything about bean fields in Iowa, I mean, they combine these little stubbles off like this, and they're just like these little sticks, and just billions of them, and I'm constantly jarring into them. And so they're cutting in, cutting in, cutting in. Again, I was stunned that the shoe held up as long as it did. I saw the wear points coming, and to be honest, had I probably I just cut a really nice little piece of Gorilla Tape and then put super glue, and had I done that earlier, I actually don't think I would have ripped them out as soon. So with all that said, the shoe held up wonderful. As a barefoot runner, these shoes give me that as close to real feel as possible. I think in my earlier video I talked about it, and I'll say it here again. Yes, you feel everything. When you hit a rock, you hit a stump, you hit something with the bottom of your foot, you feel it. There's barely anything here, and that's what you want. I've watched some videos on YouTube too about minimalist shoes, and people actually, I heard one video where they were kind of knocking the shoe because they said, well, you might feel, you feel a lot of stuff with it. It doesn't give you protection. I'm sorry, you're an idiot when you say that, because if you're a barefoot or a minimalist runner, running is about feel, okay? This shoe has literally no tread on it. I mean, look at that. There is almost nothing there, and that's how it was. When I was running through the snow, you slip and you slide. Okay, that's what you would do if you were barefoot. Is what minimalism is about. It's about feel. So, those who criticize this shoe because it doesn't have grip, I would say just the opposite. Who cares if it doesn't have grip? It isn't about time. It isn't about how fast you ran or how far you went. It was about, did you feel the run? Was the run real? When I ran during the winter, I always ran with, I take some old modified cross-country ski poles that I cut down, and I use them for my balance. This shoe, what I loved about it was that if it was slippery, you had to slow down. If you found a great straightaway that was clear and like hard frozen ground, you could take off. Running down the pavement, it's fantastic. I rarely run pavement, but I did when it was really, really deep snow. So again, I mean, I love the shoe. I think it's fantastic. For the last 3 weeks, it's now my just everyday working shoe. I mow in it. I was out pushing. I did 4 lawns yesterday. I do a little lawn mowing, push mowing on the side, and I just wear it every day. I'm an artist by trade, so I'm out in my studio with this. I love the fact that I can get on the ground with it, and I can bend it up. I can flex it up. Couple other things that I love doing with it. Hang on, this is going to be really weird because I'm going to step away. Of all crazy things, I forgot to grab this. I wear icebreaker clothing, and I took some old socks, cut up the sock, cut off the bottom of it, so the heel part, and just kept the top. Now what I do, this is really amazing, I probably won't be able to do it. I take this, and I can pull that back, I set the shoe there, and I wrap the sock. I don't know if you can see me do this. I wrap the sock. That's what's so great about these shoes. It's amazing. There, I did it. And so I wrap the sock. It isn't pretty, but I can wrap it over my wrist. So if I'm out running someplace, instead of having a backpack, I take these old socks, and these shoes are so light. There's only like, I don't know, what did they weigh? 6 ounces, something like that, 5 ounces. And I can literally run just like that with this shoe on it. And I've run 8-9 miles with these on my wrists like this, just running, because they're so light. And then what's cool is, if I want to, let's say I get into some really rough terrain after I've been running, and I want to go, need to put shoes back on, I just slip them off, and I have them. Slip them on my feet, I go, stick them back underneath the old sock there. So I know you can buy stuff like that, but seriously, it's just an old sock that I put over the shoe and it works perfect. So I'm not going to get into much more. The coldest day I ran in these was, I believe, 18 below zero. It was a sunny day. I honestly thought the shoe might just shatter apart, and it held up perfect. So I've kind of been rambling on here. I had promised to do this video a long time ago to update it. Again, yes, they're ripped up, but they still work. I'll wear these shoes until they totally fall apart. Like I said, I'm going to order another set for good, just to have like a dress shoe, because they are unbelievably comfortable. If you are a barefoot runner or are truly an ultra minimalist, but if you spend a lot of your day barefoot, but you need something that's lightweight, that's better than a sandal because it gives you a little more support, plus it keeps all the dirt and grime out of your foot if you're running, I cannot recommend this enough. I am blown away by the quality of this shoe. So that's it. Thank you much.